I'm at 10135 Wayne Avenue, doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. We're looking for any structural issues, root intrusion, anything that may be of concern to the buyer. The access point here is an MSD or sewer district clean out here. You can see it's open. You'll see normally what you'll have here is this little cap. And it says MSDGC on the front. That's Metropolitan Sewer District of Greater Cincinnati. And so they installed this. And it lets you know also that from this point up to the house is owned by it's the homeowner's responsibility. And then from here out to the sewer main is the sewer district's responsibility to repair if anything is structurally wrong. So I'm going to go both ways from this. This is a two-way clean out, and so we're going to go down, and I'm going to try to go upstream first back towards the house and inspect that way first, and then we'll go the other way, go downstream. And even though it's not the homeowner's responsibility, we want to at least get that, we do want to get that inspected, obviously, just to see if there's anything going on. So what we're going to do first, I'm going to pull back, and I'm going to have to probably run some water here. So I am at the base of the clean out now. I'm going to zero out the footage so we know how far from this the bottom of the clean out we're going to reference the footage if we have anything that needs to be called out. So I'm going to pause the video for a second. I'm going to go run a little bit of water to rinse the camera off. Okay, so we got the water coming back at the camera, so may end up having to. There we go. It actually went south. I may end up having to pull this out, clean the camera off manually. It looks like I am. I thought the water would help, but there must be something pretty greasy on the front of this thing. All right. There we go. Let's try that again. Man, this is just not. There's something on there. Sometimes grease from the kitchen lines get on this, and it does not come off. Okay, let's try this one more time here. Now with the water flowing, it may make it even tougher. Alright, there we go. If nothing else, what we'll do is we'll push all the way up. And if I can't see, we'll just turn it off when we pull back. There we go. So, it is a clay line. And then inside the house, I believe that is cast iron, which is normal. I think the house was built in 1948. So those are common materials used in that era. Okay, so we have some root intrusion here, and what usually how it's like graying and white. Usually it's an indication that the roots are no longer growing. A lot of times, if a tree's been taken down, close by that these roots were caused by, usually this is an indication that it's no longer actively growing. So it's a good sign, but that's not 100%. So there's a little bit of roots here. See, 16 feet. It doesn't seem like it's in the flow line. So it's not obstructing flow at all, but it is something you're going to have to at least pay attention to. Here's some more. So I think I am at least going to recommend a reinspection before too long, you know, maybe in a couple years to see how much or if those are still growing. Because we just want to make sure that if you let them go too long, they can grow down into the line, like into the flow line portion, and they can start causing backups. And so, let's see, we are now in the house. So we are in cast iron, which would be in the house. And we'll take a look and go as far back as we can in here, as far upstream. And that should be the origination point for the main stack in the house. Cast iron is cast iron's a weird animal because you can't ever really tell. What we're looking for here is any active holes or structural issues with the cast iron itself, but you can never really tell how much life is left in cast iron pipe. You can't, you know, without having x-ray vision, you can't tell how thick or thin the walls are, and just due to the nature of the material, it does rust. And so normally I think they say that the life expectancy is around 75 years, and so if this was, you know, roughly 1950, you know, you're getting pretty close to that now. And so I think I'm actually in that spot there where about as far as I can go. Looks like the camera's not going any further, and with the water coming down, you can see in the bottom left-hand corner the angle that the camera's sitting at. It looks like it is going uphill. They're a 35 to 40 degree angle. So I believe I am at the stack. And so I'm going to pause the video, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to turn the water off so we can see without the water hitting the camera in the face. We'll be able to see a little bit better when we pull back. So again, I'm going to pause the video for a second. Alright, so you can see we are at the stack, and so the water's off. We're going to pull back. We'll take a good look at this line as we pull back. But it did seem to me that everything was functioning properly and that the line was in good shape, especially for its age. Again, you're looking for, because there's a Y in there to the left where the pipe connection is. And then as we pull back, take a look. The cast iron actually looked really open on the way up, which is really good. A lot of times you'll have mineral deposit buildups and stuff like that where the bottom of the pipe is just full of stuff. In this case, the pipe looks nice and open. They tended to use a thicker cast iron in the 40s, and then by the 60s they were using the real thin wall stuff. So there's a lot of situations like this where the stuff that was put in the 40s is actually in better shape than the stuff that was put in the 60s. So this line looks really good. I mean, it's all ugly, but I do want to mention too, with cast iron, you want to make sure that you don't use any wet wipes. It is more susceptible to soft clogs, meaning, you know, toilet paper buildup, and wet wipes are a big problem. They get caught on the rust, the rough spots of the rust, and you have buildups and backups and stuff because of that. So just trying to take a look at that. It's just a connection, but it looks kind of weird. But yeah, you just want to make sure that you don't use things that aren't supposed to go down just because cast iron, because it gets so rusted and rough that it does have a higher percentage chance of getting a soft clog, what they call it. Basically, it's just like I said, toilet paper and wet wipes get built up and get stuck. and it's easy to clear, but it can still cause a backup. Okay, so starting at about 46 feet here upstream, and we'll mark that as 46 feet upstream, you have some roots. Like I mentioned earlier, these don't look active, but you could try to do a cleaning to get rid of these if you're worried about them being active, or you could put a root X down here if they are active. It's a chemical that foams up, and that's usually called for about once a year, but you could do that because this one little root here on the bottom right hand corner, this does look still like that may be active, so there may be bits and pieces of these roots that are still active. These are not down in the flow line, which is where the water carries most of the time. It's only, you can kind of see the wear marks where it's pretty low on the pipe, and so these are not causing current obstructions, but could be something that you would need to monitor to make sure that if they are actively growing, that they don't grow down, to the bottom of the pipe into the flow line, because that's when it'll start catching things like this, and it can start catching the toilet paper and stuff also and cause them back up. So, like I said, there's nothing in the flow line now. In fact, the flow line is open. All these are coming in at the side. So again, they're not actively causing backups, but if nothing else, you could get this re-inspected in a few years to check to see if there's any, just to see how active the roots are, and to see if you want to, if you need to do any maintenance on it. I might actually put after I go downstream, I might actually put a ball on this and see if I go back up about 10 or 12 feet just to get a better look at that spot. Basically 46 feet. Down to about 12. Okay. Now we are back into this MSD clean out. So this was installed by the city, like I mentioned, and we are now going downstream. I'm going out towards the main, and we'll take a look. And this may be green pipe the whole way, which would mean that they replaced it from here out to the main, which it does look like they did. So that's good. This is all brand new pipe, at least in terms of the age of the house. All this was installed by the city, it looks like, from this clean out all the way out to the main, and it looks great. So, yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video for a second once I pull back, because the line looks good structurally. There was just that one spot that I wasn't getting a real clear image of, and I just want to double check it. So I'm going to pause the video again for a second and get that standoff. Okay, we have that little piece attached to the front of the camera, and we're going to go upstream here. Okay, so it's going to be kind of hard. There we go. And we're heading upstream, and this is like a little riser. It kind of rises the head of the camera up higher so we can take a look. Right around in here. Okay, yeah, okay. This looks okay. I just wanted to verify. It's just the way the roots are growing up on the side of the pipe. It's not a hole. So I just wanted to make sure. So yeah, the line looks great. Structurally, you just have from about 46 feet upstream down to this clean out. I mean, all along the upstream part of the pipe, you have some root intrusion, and so that root intrusion is doesn't seem to be active, but it is something that you know, we can't be 100% sure of that until you wait a few years and do another inspection and see if it's changed. But between now and then, you could do either a mechanical cleaning to clear the stuff to make sure that you're starting fresh, or even periodic usage of some Root X. Usually calls for once a year as a preventative thing, just to be sure that if there is any active roots, it will help keep them from growing into the flow line and causing an issue. So again, line looks really good structurally, just needs a cleaning, and just pay attention to see if it's going to need future maintenance. So that'll end the inspection at 10135 Wayne Avenue.